George Jenkins was the son of a general store owner in the rural farming town of Harris City, Georgia. The store sold everything but food because the town's residents grew their own food and also traded it. Growing up working in his father's store, young Jenkins left with an understanding of the importance of customer satisfaction. George Jenkins wanted to become an electrical engineer, so he enrolled at Georgia Tech University in Atlanta. To pay for school, he worked at a realtor's office, and while there, heard great things about the riches that were being made in the Great Florida land boom, which took place during the 1920s. So Jenkins headed to Tampa in hopes of cashing in on a quick real estate deal. What he didn't expect was to be offered a job while he was there. Short on cash, George began working at a Piggly Wiggly, where he quickly moved up the ranks. Within 3 months, he was managing the entire store. Shortly after, he was transferred to the largest Piggly Wiggly in Florida, located in Winter Haven. George was impressed with how forward-thinking Piggly Wiggly was. It was much different than his father's store, with shoppers coming into the store and actually shopping for themselves. They would then head to the front of the store to check out. This fascinated Jenkins, and he dreamt of other ways to better the shopping experience for customers. These ideas he came up with were often overlooked, and he began to think about opening his own version of a grocery store. By 1930, a year into the Great Depression, Jenkins did just that. He resigned from Piggly Wiggly and set off on his own, opening his first grocery store called PUBLIX Food Store. George borrowed the name PUBLIX from a chain of movie houses called PUBLIX Theaters because he liked the way it sounded. PUBLIX was founded on principles of putting customers first. Cleanliness and friendly customer service were at the top of the list, but he also wanted to build long-lasting relationships with his employees. To do this, he established profit sharing and employee ownership. He understood that making his employees happy would in turn make customers happy. This philosophy allowed PUBLIX to grow, with a second location opening in 1935. Mr. George, as his employees called him, continued to think big. So in 1940, he closed his 2 smaller stores and opened a larger food palace of sorts, with modern marble, glass decor, and terrazzo floors. The store was nothing short of remarkable. The Art Deco-style building was stylish, and nothing was more futuristic than the automatic sliding glass doors and the air conditioning inside, which was the first ever for a supermarket. The PUBLIX brand is well known for many things. First, the use of green as their brand's main color. George Jenkins decided on green because A&P was using red, so green made the most sense. Another staple of shopping at PUBLIX is the giant scale located by the front doors. This free scale was added because it wasn't common to have a bathroom scale at home, and many stores of the time offered a coin-operated scale. But Jenkins felt like having a free scale would set his stores apart. In 1945, PUBLIX purchased the All-American grocery chain, which operated a warehouse and 19 smaller grocery stores. They set upon rebranding these stores, and by the late 1940s, PUBLIX had established itself as a chain. The 1950s were another decade of expansion, with PUBLIX branded products being introduced. Eggs, coffee, and an assortment of other products began popping up with the PUBLIX name on the label. In 1954, PUBLIX decided to swap out their tagline, Florida's Finest Food Store, for something new. They began using the slogan, "Where shopping is a pleasure," and it's been around ever since. By the end of the decade, the chain of 24 PUBLIX stores were generating profits of over $1 million. The Publix bakery, which debuted in 1957, has delighted shoppers with not only fresh bread, but with some of the best that Publix has to offer. First off, Publix offers a free cookie to children who are shopping with their parents. This makes tagging along for groceries worthwhile for kids. Kids can also salivate over the freshly decorated birthday cakes and hope that a Publix cake might be in their future. From fresh loaves of bread to pastries and desserts, the Publix bakery, along with the smells that waft through the store, plays a big part in the shopping experience, and it tends to make you hungry as well. By 1962, Publix was operating 85 Florida stores, and that number increased to 150 by 1969. Over the next 2 decades, scores of distribution centers and processing plants opened around the state, and by the end of the 1980s, Publix stores totaled 367, with over 64,000 employees. Florida remained the focus of new locations for the first 60 years. It wasn't until 1991 that Publix finally decided to cross state lines and open a store in Georgia. Florida's best-kept secret was now out, and other regions of the Southeast were about to experience the Publix difference. In 1992, Publix began making custom-made sub sandwiches in their deli. This was a rare offering at a grocery store, but Publix has turned this practice into an art form with their wildly popular pub subs. Publix subs are consistently rated as fan favorites. In 1996, Publix founder George Jenkins passed away at the age of 88. His legacy of caring and contributing made him a beloved figure, always keeping an open-door policy with his employees. He cared about their thoughts and ideas, a courtesy he thought he had been denied when he worked for Piggly Wiggly. Today, Publix operates 1,200 stores in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia, employing over 225,000 employees. The company still advertises its mission of empowering their employees and pleasing customers. Publix has become ingrained in the Florida experience, and the philosophy of kindness on which the company was founded does make shopping there a pleasure. As the supermarket chain slowly moves into new regions, others are finding out what makes Publix so special, and why it's consistently rated as one of the best companies to work for. Let me know in the comments your own memories of shopping or even working at Publix. And as always, thank you so much for watching.